Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to try and show you how to edit something like this.
She the one for me. She the one, she the one, she the one I need. Then I think fuck that bitch. I just wanna fuck, gotta scratch that itch. Only 19 left, don't make no sense. I don't wanna ask where all my time went. This my niche, play my role. What you hold, little boy, best don't reach. Your shit dirt, you get curved, I just saw and reap. With that ease, hella clean, rips all on your knees. That's that work when you hurt, my head full of steam. I got lucid dreams, I make movie scenes. It's not new to me. Greek gon' kill like scream. Ego my enemy. My heat got entropy. It's all just chemistry. Gon' hit the I-5, it won't be no shock. I've been planning for.
Alright, so I'm going to try and make this tutorial as meticulous as possible and go through all the steps step by step. First step, we have to find the files that we recorded at the cinematic tutorial. We did that previously. I know it's taken me a while to make this tutorial, but finally getting the time to do that. So the cinematics that we recorded, if you guys don't know how to do that, I'll put a link thing up in the cards over here, and then also you guys can check it out in the description. A tutorial on how to edit in the PUBG review thing, like how to get the cinematics for you. So go check that out if you don't know how to do that yet. I've already edited some different ones, or I've already recorded some different ones, so I'm going to show you guys where that is on the files. Here it is right now. It's under my GeForce recording tab. So these are all of them that we're going to be working with today. There's a bunch of screenshots here too. These are just screenshots, so those two will be left out. All right, step number 2, you need to find the music that you want to edit to. Okay, very, very important. I'm going to use my homie Eric Reprid stuff. I always use his music in a lot of my edits, and I highly recommend you guys go following him. This is a channel, just Eric Reprid. Go check him out. You can use his music for free, I'm pretty sure. Maybe just shoot him a DM before you do. And this is the song I'm going to be using, so let's just listen to it for a little bit.
It's the yellow Diablo, cooler than gelatos. Slide into that bitch and show her how to sing legato. Chefing waffles like a.
Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and launch After Effects. It's the program that I like to edit in the most. There's a bunch of reasons for it, but the program that you guys use is totally up to you. I'm just going to show you the way that I do things and what order and everything. So we're gonna go back to our clips. We're not gonna open up a new thing. We're gonna go back to our clips. We're gonna import all of them. So shift click all of them in. Just drag them on in. When they're all dragged in, take the first one, make a new composition out of it. So just drag it into the middle or down here to the timeline. This is my first clip. I've got my preview here set at 1/4 so that my PC doesn't work too hard to preview all the frames. Okay, secondly, I'm going to drag in my music. You can do that from everywhere. The only reason why we made a composition with this is just match the aspect ratio, your resolution, and your frame rate to the composition. So I'm going to delete my clip again, and here we have our music. I'm going to click on it, highlight it, press L for llama twice, and it's going to show up with the waveform. You can also do that just by clicking these down arrows, going to the waveform. But like this, it only shows the waveform. Okay, so I'm going to have this here. All right, I've noticed that our composition is only 32 seconds long. I want it a little bit bigger just for some wiggle room. Composition settings. Going to go down to duration. I'm going to make this about 5 minutes, 33 seconds or whatever. All right, that just gives us a little bit more space here so the entire song can fit in. And we got some extra wiggle room and stuff like that. All right, so we're going to start here at the beginning of the song, and we're going to start marking the beats. All right, so this is step 3. You've already got step 1. You've got your files. You've got all the cinematics already recorded. You got step 2. You found a song that you like. Step 3, import everything, and now we're going to start marking the beats that are kind of important. So we obviously want to match the clips and the edit to the song, so we need to find the crucial beats that we're going to edit it to, if that makes any sense. All right, for some reason I still haven't found a hotkey that this works with in After Effects. I'm pretty sure you just have to drag it out. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark all of them. You find a beat spot by just dragging the slider over here, and then you grab this little arrow over here which sees comp marker bin. Drag it out to the left until it snaps by holding shift, and that'll be your first marker. And we can just keep continuing doing this. There's clearly a huge drop here.
It's the yellow.
So you're gonna keep doing that mark every single beat. I'm gonna come back when all of this is done. Okay, here we're done now. I did a bit up until 20 seconds. I'm just gonna leave it for that, and we can continue when we go a bit further on. I don't know how long this is gonna take. I only have a few clips, so I'm gonna preview it through with you guys, and you can see how I spaced out the beats and stuff. You can do it your own way. It doesn't really matter. I guess this is a kind of an artistic thing, so just listen quick.
It's the Yellow Diablo, cooler than gelatos. Sliding.
Alright, so the only reason why we put down these markers is just to show us where the points of interest are in the songs. So we're going to keep those there for now. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my song, and I'm going to lock it by clicking at the bottom here of the little lock symbol. And I'm probably just going to retract my waveform so you can't see it anymore. And then I'm going to work with my clips one by one. I'm going to do some selects just to make sure that I've got the proper part of the clip. I'll obviously film this just off the fly, off the cuff. So I'm going to go through and make sure that I've got the perfect part of the clip selected. For those of you guys who don't know how to do that, you go with your little scrubber tool until you're right on the little spot where you want to cut. Hold down Control-Shift-D. That'll split the clip into 2 clips. And you click on the one that you don't want, press delete. That'll delete that part, and then you can scrub until where you want it to stop to. After that, Control-Shift-D again. That cuts it out. So you've got this little part here, which is what we want. All right, so that's the one clip that I cut into these 2 clips over here. I'm going to move them closer together, and that's basically it. So it's going to make this stepping formation, and we're going to go all the way up. If you're doing this on any other software, just do the same way that you would edit a regular video. I'm not here to teach you how to edit. I'm just how to teach you how to edit a PUBG video, and this is how I do it personally. I know there's a bunch of other ways that are much easier and much more quicker, etc., etc. This is just the way I do it personally. So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is just how I've learned how to do it over the years. So yeah. All right, so I just finished organizing all of my clips chronologically, and also trimming them properly, and also placing them in the correct chronological order. I'm not exactly sure how long that took me. It took me probably like an hour or something. I'm not sure. This is the most time-consuming stage of the entire thing, but that is your, I think it's 4th step. Yeah, your 4th step, right? Trim the clips and organize them chronologically. This is what it looks like right now. So this is what my timeline looks like right now. Everything is in order the way that I want it to flow from the first clip all the way through to the, I don't know how many clip this is. I guess you guys can figure out how long it took me by the time down here in the right hand corner. But yeah, it took me quite a while. I've got the cinematics in the beginning. I'm going to try and take you guys through the entire thing quickly. I'm going to try and make this tutorial as short as possible. So we've got the cinematic here in the beginning of just the plants and everything, and the elephant, so everybody knows we're in paradise. I move on through the fire. I can just play this, I guess. It's very, very slow right now, and obviously we're going to speed that up with speed ramping and stuff like that. But this is just the order everything is going in right now. And if I add in the music, you guys will realize that there's not really anything going on when it comes to syncing up with the music.
Swim, Larry drown fishing. I'm just waiting till he born again. I might need him born again.
So yeah, as of right now, it's not synced up at all to the music. It's just the individual clips, as you guys can see, the way that I want them, or in the order that I want them to appear. So that's all that is right now. And now the next step, the 5th step, and also a very time-consuming part is you have to sync up every single clip to a certain beat that you want it to happen at. So I'm going to try and give you guys an example. All right, I apologize for the music being too loud in the beginning of this tutorial, but I only figured out that now. It's clipping on my recording, and I noticed that now. So I put it down a little bit. It's not that loud anymore, as you guys can see. So sorry about that. I'm going to start to put everything together. As you guys can see here, the beginning part of the song is very soft until the drop around here somewhere.
It's the Yellow Diablo.
And then it kind of speeds up a little bit because it's got vocals and everything, and the beat changes. So up until that, it's going to be somewhat slow, and then it's going to start picking up pace a little bit. So I want the first kill to happen around here.
It's the Yellow.
So probably on this beat right here. Marker number 2 is probably going to be it. Placed it 1 frame too early. But yeah, marker number 1 is probably going to be it. Marker number 2, I mean. So if this is going to be the first kill, and usually that's the way I like it, you can do it however you want. My first few beats over here is only going to be cinematics. So up until number 3 here, this is going to be the elephant. So there's a clear beat here. Also, for the love of God, please remember to press Control S as much as you can to save your project, because you don't want that to get lost. There's a plugin that I use a lot, which is called Twitch, which is called Twixter, and that is what I use for all of my speed ramping. Now, I know a lot of you guys hate Twitch, and I know that a lot of you guys think that it gives off really weird warpy things and stuff like that, and I know that is the case. It's just the way I do things, and there's a really good reason for that, because firstly, I'm not good at the other ways of doing it, and secondly, I just find this to be the easiest and the quickest, and thirdly, it's just personal preference. So if you have different ways of doing speed ramping, by all means, YouTube search easier ways. This is just the way that I've known, and this is the way that I'm making this tutorial. So as I said, this is my personal preference and my personal way of doing things. All right, so I'm gonna drag Twixter to the layer that I want to apply it to. Again, you guys can look at tutorials on how to get Twixter. I'm not gonna do that right now. The input frame rate I know is 59.94, so I'm gonna do that quickly. Input frame rate, you have to do that for every single one. It's kind of annoying. And then you have to, in the beginning, just mark your speed. Press U on your keyboard to show your keyframes. In the beginning of the clip, it's keyframed at 100% speed, and then later on I made another keyframe, as you guys can see down here, and then I'm going to go up until the end. This last keyframe is then 300, as you guys can see down here. I'm going to select both keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant. I'm going to say easy ease, and then after I've done that, I'm going to go into the graph editor, which is over here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that this is a sharp Bezier curve, which looks like that. After I've done that, it looks like this. I now notice that it doesn't speed up enough, so I'm going to even increase this a little bit more. Let's do 500. I'm going to double check my curve. As you guys see, it's not correct, so I'm going to make that like a little ramp, but it's going to go very it's a very sharp ramp. And then I'm going to increase it to 1,000 now. Let's see what that does. Okay, and after I've got my little speed ramp here, I'm going to cut right there, delete the rest of it. I'm going to move on to the second little part. All right, so just to quickly recap, in the beginning here, we've got a keyframe of 100% speed. We go on to around where the first little beat starts. That little thing. Make the second keyframe, which is also set at 100. Then we're going to go up, in this case, until 1,000 speed. And we're going to check the graph editor that it gives us a really steep ramp. And you can play around with these Bezier curves until you find that. You guys know how Bezier curves work. I then cut it on the beat, and I'm going to go over to the second cinematic clip, which looks like that. I'm going to also add Twixter to this. Set my frame rate at 59.94. That's what I recorded at. The speed is going to be at 100, but I'm also going to keyframe that. I'm going to press U on my keyboard for Uganda knuckles. I'm going to move my keyframe here at the beginning one frame backwards. Okay, so this is the start of the clip, and I'm going to move my keyframe one frame backwards. You see the increments of frames, one frame backwards, and I'm going to make another keyframe at 1,000. So it's at 100 and then 1,000. Okay, then from my 1,000, I'm going to go back up until the same amount back that we went here in the beginning. Gotta go back like that. I'm gonna make a new keyframe. I'm gonna set that back down to 100, and then these last two, I'm going to set the keyframe to easy ease again. I'm gonna go back into my graph editor, and yet again we're going to set this at a very sharp angle. Once that's done, you'll see a transition like this. The next clip is this little tree section over here. We're going to drag that over, and then we're going to do another little cool thing, which on these little beats, we're just going to cut this up, move it over a little bit, remove the Twixter completely from the second clip, move it over like that, cut it up so that there's a jump cut here, which there isn't right now. And then we'll transition into the second part. We'll do another little speed ramp transition over here. All right, so thus far we have something that looks like this. All right, at this point, I'm not exactly sure how I want to piece this together, because we have the drop happening over here.
It's the yellow.
And there's a very long portion before that even happens. So I might, first of all, just cut off some of the beginning of the song, which I might just do. All right, as you guys can hear, the beat repeats itself pretty obviously. Listen carefully. Here's the start. You heard that. Now here is where it repeats itself. That's a pretty obvious cut in the song. So I'm going to half the intro by half because we don't have enough clips. If you have enough cinematics to go around, then you don't have to do this. Although I don't, so I have to. I'm going to cut the intro in half, and I'm going to move all of our edited clips over to where it is right now. This way, I don't have to waste time on boring cinematics, and I don't have to drag it out too much.
It's the yellow.
Alright, so what I did here is I transitioned into this one.
It's the
And it's going to speed up until this little snare. And after that, it's just going to slow down to 5%. It's going to go from 1,900% down to 5%. This is what this looks like. It's a pretty sheer drop. Just easy eased to 5%. And what Twixtor allows you to do is to slow down that low. And it'll just fill up the frames with fictional frames. It'll just make frames if there isn't any.
It's the
That's the way that I can make that look so slow without actually filming that slow.
yellow.
And yes, there's going to be a little bit of weirdness going on there, but it's still going to look very cool because you're focusing on the main character there in the middle. Then here where he says I'm going to cut, and I'm also going to just take the scale down to 1/3, and then also just work these 3 little keys. So these 3 little beats, I'm just going to have something happen. It doesn't have to be something cool or something impressive or anything. It's just going to have to be any sort of motion. So just the basics again, every single little keyframe that you made, every single beat that you made, you have to make sure that something is happening. Some sort of action or motion is happening in that little moments. Something has to either start moving quickly or stop moving quickly, or just start moving in general, or it has to crop in or crop out, or do whatever you want to do with it, or switch angles, or switch the footage, or cut just a regular cut or something. Something has to happen every single beat. So as long as you're following that, generally you'll have something somewhat decent. For example, these 4 little markers, something happening every single time. I just cut a little bit ahead, so it's a little bit of a jump cut between all 4. And that makes the transition, because this is one piece of film and then this is the other piece of film. So that just kind of masks the transition a little bit, because you think it's just another jump cut. So that's pretty obvious. And then here's another transition. It's just a little ramp transition, speed ramp transition that I showed you how to do. This little beat here. And then the second one is just a plain cut to a new piece of footage. And here for this little beat over here, there's just a little quick ramp in, and then kind of a freeze frame that's kind of in motion. It's like a 5% motion thing going on here. And then on the second little beat over here, these 4, the second one is just a little crop in. As you guys can see, I just put the scale over to 130. The way I open up scales, pressing S on your keyboard. There's a bunch of shortcuts that you'll have to learn on After Effects. So that's just a little scale in. That's all it is. Alright, so this is what I got so far. Let's just take a quick peeky poo. As I've told you guys, here on out, it's very, very simple. The only thing you need to know is that every single beat, little marker that you made, you have to make sure that some sort of action or movement is occurring. And that could be anything. Now, your second task is to go look up tutorials on YouTube of how to do certain effects. Okay, so you need to look up certain effects, and you're going to implement those. You need to teach yourself those effects and implement those on these little beats, right? All right, so I'm gonna go through it again. This is the start. Let me try and make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can actually see. This is at quarter resolution, by the way, so it doesn't look too good. All right, so the first little beat we have, that is just a speed ramp transition. Those are little jump cuts transitions. Another speed ramp. This transition over here is just a little cut. That's all it is. Just a regular cut. The most basic transition you can get on the beat. Over here, it's a speed ramp into not a freeze frame, but a 5% clip. So you see there's a little bit of movement. It's not completely frozen. And then right after this, I don't know what to do yet. So I've got a punch in over here. I just increased the scale of the footage for a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what I would want to do with the next beat.
Yellow Diablo.
So I'm going to leave that part blank for now. But this little black square is what represents where something else should be happening. But I just don't know what to put there yet. Anyway, okay. So the second one is also just a jump cut. But there's a bit of a speed ramp going on here.
Yellow Diablo. Cooler than
another speed ramp transition going on here.
Diablo. Diablo. Cooler than
over here for the second little beat or the next one. I mean, it's just a speed ramp. It's ramped up real quick and then it goes down to 5%. So like
cooler than July.
The next one is just a cut to a slow-mo one bullet shot over here. The shadow in the background changes a little bit, or the gun positioning changes a little bit on his back, as you can see. Fucking annoying, but that's PUBG broken for you. And that leads us on to the kill, the death of this guy. This is speed ramped out the wazoo, so
gelatos, slide into that bitch and show her how to sing legato. Cooler than gelatos, slide into that bitch and show her how to sing legato.
Right, so that's how far I got thus far. It takes me very, very long to do this because I'm still new at all this, so it takes me quite a while. And I kind of figure it out as I go. So let's watch the rest of this, and then I'm going to edit the rest of this. And then after I've done that, I'm going to show you guys how to properly put in the sound effects. Not where to get the sound effects, because I'm still working on PUBG sound clip pack for you guys, so that you guys know exactly what gun sounds to use. I'm going to add it to my website, so go check out my website, bookmark it so long, because there will be a little download button for PUBG sounds within the next week or so, and I highly recommend, I'll make a video on it, and I highly recommend you guys go download that. If it's available already, then just go check it out quickly, frankybro.com, go check it under free stuff, the tab free stuff. Go check it out. There might be a download already. It's completely free, non-copyright. I just made it there because I think it's useful for you guys, so go check that out. And then we're gonna add the music, add the sounds. We're gonna add Cinecrop and the color grade, and then it's basically done. Before that, let's just watch what I've done so long in its entirety.
It's the Yellow Diablo, cooler than gelatos. Slide into that bitch and show her how to sing legato. Chefing waffles like.
Alright, that's all I have done so far. Let me finish this quick. Alright, so it's been 2 days or so since I recorded the last little bit. I have to record this now. I think there's a little bit of construction and stuff going on outside, but if I don't do this right now, I'm never going to have this finished. So the next step is to add the sound clips that you want, like the gunshots and everything. I did this in Premiere Pro, so I exported everything, muted completely, and then I just add on the sound and the music. As I said, I'm going to release a sound pack with all of the sounds that you need, but for now, you guys can just find it online. I'm pretty sure there's ways of finding them. Otherwise, you can just record them in-game. So this is what it sounds like without any music, but only the sound effects that I added. That's basically it. And then once you're done with the sound effects, you can add on the music, add on your color, whatever color you want. Finish off the last little bit of pan cropping and stuff that you need to do, and that's basically the entire thing. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll try and answer it. If you guys need me to do a different tutorial on something else, let me know that in the comments as well. I'm going to show you guys the final product quickly, and that's it. Hope you guys subscribe. I'm going to probably make more of these in the future and give you guys some more tools and stuff, more assets that you guys can use in your next videos on my website, so check that out as well in the description. All right, peace.
It's the Yellow Diablo, cooler than gelatos. Slide into that bitch and show her how to sing legato. Chefing waffles like I'm Roscoe's, going to that hoe to vamos. I'm on my shell, curving around the beef just like some tacos. I got problems, all of them are bottled up. Left me hollow, so I burn my halo bone. Pick up all that angel dust, why that shit too dangerous. Icing on the fingertips, taking all these hits, but someone teach them how to take a hit.
going